show you a little closer detail before we begin, but here's their patch, and they got a little slap happy with the Sawzall or something in here. It's pretty rough, and we got all kinds of miscuts and so forth. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to cut, how's that overlapped? I may not go clear to the bottom, but certainly all along here. And then I'm going to go all the way across, and oh, the front end is scary. I'm not sure what we're going to get into there yet. Original old iron and spatter paint. Now I can only assume that what they were trying to accomplish here is to build up the door gap. Like they had too much of a gap, you know. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind, certainly. It is a terrible job, I got to admit that, but you know, we can do the same thing, perhaps just a little bit better, if we need to. It's like really ground down, and then for whatever reason, they had a high spot here, they just beat that in, so, you know, they got the job done. So at this point, this thing is gonna fight me. She is gonna fight me. We removed this all here, and now we have way too much metal, so we may have to shrink that. Maybe not, I don't know. It might turn out okay, it may not. But anyway, I think what I pretty much have to do is start tacking it. But you can see, even though I'll butt them together there, we still have quite a trench effect going on. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I have marked on the other side every 12 inches, that's 1 foot if you didn't know, from the front of the, or from the rear of the door opening going towards the back. So I have 6 marks, and then on this side I also marked where our cut is on the other side. So 4 inches down from the top there, 6 inches here going across, just so I have a baseline. And then I've cut 6 4 by 12 inch pieces of cardboard, and those are going to be my little checker templates for the other side, and that'll give me a good idea So I'm lining them up with the belt line, so I always know where the top belongs on these. And the first one I did, I went and compared it with the other side. It was a little frightening. I'll show you that in a second. This is some extra heavy duty cardboard, and it does not want to cut. A little more refining it. That's going to be the top of number 5. The chef's kiss, it is perfect. Are you ready for this? Number 5. There's no way anybody could be ready for this. Holy cow. That's a solid inch of Bondo. That is awesome. All right, I have my 6 profiles cut out, and I must say I am flummoxed and flabbergasted. I knew it was bad, but for me to honestly think it was this bad, no, I didn't imagine that. Anyway, now we have a guide that once I start tacking this together and pushing on it, we can say, whoa, that needs to stop there, you know. The very back one is certainly the closest, but it still needs help. So, oh, this is really interesting. One more thing before I let you go. I was starting to tack it together, as you can see, using these little cheapo clamps, so on and so forth. And I was just measuring to make sure that from this body line to either this one or the very top, we were consistent height-wise going across the car there. And we are, but it was not initially. I was measuring off of using my tail light hole here as a guide where I'm positioning my tape, you know. So we have 22.5 inches from top to bottom on the back side of this. So we go on the back side of this one, top to bottom, 21.5. We're an inch different. Well, I got to looking at it. Something looked wrong, right? So in front of this little thing that meets the bumper, we're 2.5 inches. And on the right side, we are double. We're 5 inches. I don't know why, but that's 2.5 inches farther forward on that patch panel. So what do we do about that? Do we need to fix it, or does it even matter? Yeah, we're back hard at it, as you can see. Oh, that's powerful stuff. We've got problems, you know, and I'll show you a closer look. You may recall that I laid out some numbers on both sides, and I made, you know, little reference templates. Did I just call it a template? Well, who am I, Jimmy Stewart? Just so we could go along and make sure at least every 12 inches that we're on the money. And we're really far from on the money at the moment. All right, let's just support it with the old, maybe move the pocket knife, you know. Support it with the old hip. Breaking welds. Got template number 3 here. All right, so what I've done to begin with, number 1 is close, but I've come in, I've ground off my welds for the first 2 feet. I've got some in here. All right, my baby comes over, the cameras go off, and for good reason. Oh, no, excuse me. Anyway, first of all, I was just holding the top edge out with my hand in here and bumping with the rubber mallet in just to start working this ridge back in, because we don't want that. If you look at number 1, which was admittedly kind of close anyway, this is such a not a well-defined body line here, but it's about there. We're getting close. Honestly, if I was that close the whole way down, I'd say we're good, you know. So I'm gonna have to do the same with the top original metal, I can't just tack them and expect it to work right. It's gonna get sucked in again, you know. So I'm gonna have to work along, bump that out, probably with a hammer and dolly. I can try it with the rubber mallet. Let's see where we're at with number 2. I've got it. I made these to line up. I got my top marked, you know, to line up with this line here. There we're getting, not even a 1/4 inch away, so I've definitely got to put general curve in that. But this has got to come quite a ways. If I could get the bottom edge to come there, then we'd be sitting pretty, other than a little bit, get rid of a flat spot in here. I just undid all that. We've got to move this thing way too much to be messing around like that, you know. Just gonna give it a knee. Let's grab number 4. Oh yeah, see? Line it up better. Way out there. We got about an inch. But that top piece has got to come out. And of course it'd be nice if this one stayed out there too. Give me 6. Not bad. From there up, which is where that bend is, let's just straighten that out. Ouch. Yeah, we're getting there. Maybe I should make another template for, you know, about 6 inches or something here. Just so much curve they put in this thing. So much curve and 5 gallons of body filler. Yeah, we're about halfway there, where we need to be. Honey, hush. I really started to like where our number 2 mark is. Now you can see we're still way off, but we're getting close, right? We're much, much closer than it ever was before. So what I'm gonna do, we're touching here in our template, but not along these 4 inches. I actually have marked right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come along, I'm gonna hold here where it's touching, probably just with the palm of my hand right now, And then on the inside, I'm going to smack in here with the very top of the head of the rubber mallet, since it's nice and curved and it won't make, you know, sharp dents from the inside. See if we can get the high spot to move from here down to here. This could very well take quite a few attempts. What do you think? Are we any better? We certainly got to hit more there. I should go get a dolly. That seam is wanting to pinch my hand. Oh yeah. Right there, we just improved it quite a bit. All right, I think you'd agree that we are getting much closer to where this thing needs to be. I've been concentrating around number 2 here, and if I push in, you know, to get the 2 panels to line up, we've got just a little bit of daylight showing through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tack this part here. I'll probably go along at each of my 12-inch increments, get them all this close, and tack weld them again, because I just can't, the clamp wasn't up to it. I just can't reform this without this panel being tighter, you know. Just not enough rigidity in it for me to conveniently work on it. It would be so much easier if it was nice and tight, and then just bump, and it would do what the hammer tells it to do. So anyway, I'm going to tack weld that and then move on to number 3 and get that one close, so on and so forth. That was a 3/16. It's a 1/16 of an inch. Get pretty close. I'm starting to get our seam here welded up, you know, about every inch, and once I get a tack on there, boy, you can really fine-tune that metal, and we're getting close all the way across. Just continue to use the dolly on the inside, you know, the curved part out, and just do that more than anything, and that really is helping, making that a nice smooth transition. Unfortunately, I just can't do much in here because of the inner construction. So that all relies on the old pins, you know, if I need it. Right here, it seems like there's that, that sharp curve they put in there. It's really pronounced right in there. It doesn't look bad when I put number 4 on there and number 5. You know, we're getting pretty close. Probably what I should do is make one at 4.5 according to the other side and see where we're at. Well, I am blown away. I can't believe it. But we're looking right at it. and it is closer than I ever thought it would be. If I could get some shape up into here, and yeah, in this region here, if I could get a little curve in there, which is going to be a little difficult. I don't know if I can get a board and a pry bar and push outward on that. And that's as much as we can hope for. I mean, at the most, that gap at the widest, I don't think we have 1/8 of an inch. So if I can just push on that a little bit, we are going to be on easy street, especially because Dr. Pepper, you know. Well, I already shot the ending scene of our video here, and just looking at this, I'm gonna try to get something better going on this door jamb. See if we can get something going. If not by the end of the day today, then maybe tomorrow we can at least show you where we're headed and what we're doing here, and then I will, if that's the case, then I will show you the rest of the panel where we stand. This profile gauge I did on the door jamb on the driver's side, and then we just flip her over, and if you can see that, I might have to get you closer in here. But it's pretty awful. So in the area between my two fingers, about this 12 inches or whatever, this door jamb, this portion widens out about 1/4 of an inch farther than it should be. It's okay down here, and it's okay up here. Of course, this is factory, but in here, it's about 7/8-ish on the other side. And the width here is about 1 1/8 inches, right? So we can see why they were beating this thing with the pick on their body hammer, trying to get this thing to go in, and we can see why they really rounded this over. But this door, if you wanted to match, basically this door adjusted right according to the strikers would be here, and then you would have this sitting 1/4 inch proud of the door. And I remember before we took this thing apart, I believe it was the passenger door, it was adjusted very oddly, so the top of the frame of the glass was, I believe it was sucked in, like this whole door was sitting on a weird angle, and a lot of that was probably to accommodate all of this weirdness going on. So I think what we need to do, we certainly need to cut it all up between this bend and somewhere around our seam, certainly where they started grafting in this odd piece of metal they cut. But we're gonna have to split this. We're gonna have to get this out of here. Then all of this is sitting a 1/4 inch proud of where it should be. If I put this on here, you can see, you may be able to see a gap right here. So this starts falling away like they were trying to push it towards the door to get the two to line up, right? That should be a nice crisp line like this, but it isn't. So cut that, and then we're gonna, I believe we're just gonna have to cut slits and bend that in, and then I need to make a new piece to this profile and get that more square to each other. At least that's the plan. I guess we might as well try it. So far, I've discovered 2 scab layers. What mysteries await us beneath? So on top of the bad audio, just in general, we have rain. But please forgive it, because we need it. Anyway, when I hold my straight edge, we have a low spot here. It kind of ends right there. Just generally speaking, so I'm just going to make a line there. How low do we go? That's about there, somewhere in there. And we have a high spot, and then they started, we have a gap forming here again as they push that in to try to accommodate the door gap. And we could probably go all the way to the end with this, but I'm just going to mark where that begins. Because we do need to move this corner in. Now, when I was peeling this back, I started to measure. What did I do with the tape? The tape is gone. Here's the tape. From the hole for the door, the dome light switch, measure straight across. The other side was 46 7/8 to this edge here, and 5/8 to the inner corner. And lo and behold, when we measure here, we're getting 46 7/8 to the outside corner. So I'm not sure why they were trying to close the gap up here, unless they were just, well, I mean, they put 2 layers on there even. So I'm not sure about that. When we take these off, we start getting a nice crisp corner here. Kind of looks like there's a lot we're gonna have to mess with in there. But I think if I slice this and we put a couple cuts in here, we could try 2 or 3. Maybe we can get it. Alright, isn't it interesting what it naturally did when I started cutting reliefs in here? It did not want to be where they put it. I mean, you want tension on these things anyway. Anyway, I've got to finish cutting that. But now, hopefully we can get this to a more natural state of things. This is kind of holy and kind of messed up in here, but I'm going to try to get our scabbed on pieces out of here, out of the road, and then get in here maybe with a compass and do a consistent line in there, trim that down, and see where we end up. Alright, we're going to make a new panel. I brought my bead roller, but I really don't have the right dies to do what I want to do, and I could probably fake it. But that's okay. We will make a straight piece and then we will modify it. I got this this box break is from Dad-in-law's, and I bought this from him. And I don't want to run out of material. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Let's just do this. This is all arbitrary anyway, but I want enough to do what I have to do. Now, I don't think it's quite 90 degrees. Sure. By the way, I made this out of the trim, you know, what was trimmed off on the quarter panel here, you know, so that's nice. Just returning it from whence it came. So, I've got it trimmed down to about 7/8. Now I'm going to try to come in with the tin snips, and maybe we'll do, maybe the areas where there's a really good curve we'll do every ½ inch or so. Otherwise, maybe I'm just going to try to cut about every inch. We don't even need to measure it, you know. May have to put this on the floor and stomp on it. Something like that. I'll have to straighten out everything in the end, but we just want to make this overlap each other. Okay, now I have all my segments cut. We're starting to get a nice curve in it, you know. This inner jamb construction should be a reasonable facsimile of the shape of the outside panel. So I'm just going to go through now and hold it on here, tweak what I need to tweak with the pliers gently, you know, it's sheet metals underneath there, so we don't want to get too carried away, but I can adjust with the hammer, tweak with the pliers, tack weld one segment at a time, and in the end we should end up with something that fits quite nicely. The worst part of it is, well, actually, the first worst part of it is I forgot myself this morning and wore my tenny boogies, you know. Always a good thing when welding. Anyway, the other worst part of it is we have all these overlapping segments. We get enough penetration, it shouldn't matter. You know, we'll be able to smooth that all out. But anyway, start doing that. Alright, well, I welded up all of my overlaps, ground them down, took it to the workbench, and using the pick, went along the tops of each weld. So basically I was forcing the majority of the bulges, the bumps, the extra material to the inside of the panel rather than the outside. Still be a little, you know, minuscule filler that needs to go on here, but it'll take a lot less work. Now, I think I have it fitting to my liking. So, I'm going to mark the top and the bottom. We can cut this old junk out and then line this up and get this new junk in there. Must be enjoying myself because I've already been doing this almost an hour and a half. And the time has flown by. But anyway, think I'm just going to let this leg overlap all of my panels, and then we will cut that with the cutoff wheel. Lastly, but if I can get this started where it belongs and tack it, and everything else should just fall into place. But I'm almost done welding up my relief cuts here. Now those things did two things for me. A, obviously it made it a lot easier to move the panel where I needed it to go. It could follow the contour easier, and obviously move in, you know, that 1/4 inch. It was just very simple to move that and get it to line up with this section. The other thing is, there was way too much material here. Since it was sticking out another 1/4 inch, there was just way too much panel here, way too much of a bulge, especially compared to the other side. When I put a straight edge on here, the other side didn't have much extra material here, and this side certainly did. And so when I got that cut to shape, cut to length, let's say, and started lining it up and tacking it together. I don't know if you can see, like this, these two are touching each other. The thickness of the blade, the cutting wheel, is completely gone on all of these. All of them drew together, and of course the benefit of welding it back together is that as that weld cools, it shrinks and it tightens everything back up for you. It may get a little wonky, wavy, you know, because nothing's consistent, but all I'm doing is just doing the normal stitch weld kind of thing, and then as I see I have a low spot, because that always, you weld, it shrinks, and it always draws flatbed. It always draws those panels in to a point, you know, and so you start getting a valley there, and I just reach in there with a dolly and wham it and get some curve back into it like it should have. I can tell I need to do that clear on the bottom one again. And then she just gets tight as a drum, you know? So I'm gonna finish that up. This is the last thing I'm going to show you, I promise. Welded up, ground, pins, pulled, happy enough. Big bulge here. The other side, we'll put the straight edge on. It's basically straight, except it just falls away a little bit right at the door opening. This side, there was a huge gap here. I had way too much still here, which isn't surprising because, you know, over here we had way too much, so it just it just follows that there would be too much here too. Again, relief cut, push it together, same size of cutting wheel, no longer goes in there. We've closed that gap. We've made the bulge smaller, and now I am matching the other side at the door opening. Okay, so I'm going to weld this up. Same thing, grind, bump, hammer and dolly, whatever it takes, and that'll be it. Clean up in Bay 3. My goodness, what a mess. You know, that always reminds me, when I was a young man, my first full-time job, well, not first full-time job, out of higher education full-time job, I was a Ford tech at a dealership, and I was doing something like flushing a transmission out, probably on a a Windstar minivan or something, and there was a huge mess with the machine. I mean, I had tranny fluid all over my lift area. And like a rational thinking person, I cleaned it up before I went and got the next work order, the next vehicle. And the service writer, you know, the little chap in the khakis and the blue button-up shirt at the front that the customer deals with, I mean, to top it off, he was probably a year or two older than me, and we went to the same school growing up. He came back there and chewed me out when there was work to do. I was cleaning the floor. What? I'm not gonna be slipping and sliding. You want me to break a hip and be on the company's dime? I can do that, fella, you know. But I'm not working sloshing around in tranny fluid. That's just sheer idiocy, and it was, you know, that was probably one of the main reasons that very soon after I signed up for the restoration program at McPherson College. The funny thing is, now that guy, I believe, is employed at McPherson College. Anyway, be that as it may, there we go. It's looking a little worse for wear, but it is so much better than what we started with. We got that all stitched back together, put in place. Our jamb is looking much better. There is one thing to do yet. When I've got this by measurement compared to the other side, the bottom end is sticking out about 1/4 of an inch more than the other, or more than the bottom end here. And so this bottom 6 inches, I will need to make another piece just like we did there and finish that out. Other than that, the rear 1/4 is done. At least with welding and cutting. You know, there's a lot more work to do on it, but we'll have to figure out what to do about the marker light, if we do anything about it. But anyway, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. God bless. See you on the next one. Hey, Lyle, you want to bring the dustpan? Lyle? Is that guy out smoking again? Lyle!